If you're wondering what I'm staring at, folks, on my right monitor is the most incredible AI devastating beauty I have created thus far. But today, we're not talking about the Lynx effect, because at least with those advertising campaigns, you got what you paid for. No, this is the sweet baby ink effect, which is basically a big turd plopping right on your dinner plate. Don't blame it on the sunshine, don't blame it on the moonlight, don't blame it on the good times, blame it on sweet baby. Ow, get down with your bad self. So do you like my new camera setup? I think it's rather groovy. Maybe just bring that here. I don't know. I've got this off axis, but I like this. This is great. Now you can see the lights, action, cameras, and titties. And here they are. Dun, 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 dun. And on today's video, folks, I will be talking about, oh, can't believe this. This is the third thumbnail I've created in 3 days. Magic number is 3, things happen in threes, where rest in peace exists in the thumbnail. But just to alleviate that, I've got to put a big pair of tits on a very attractive AI creation of mine to ease and subdue the pain that I like to bring on, because only I, folks, would like to bring you this dreadful news regarding Rocksteady. At this stage, we should probably call them Rocksteady.
Her voice may be almost as important to gamers as Lara's double pistols, curves and skimpy shorts.
Kung Fu Hot Dog is a Kung Fu renegade cop. Now he must defeat the most evil Kung Fu master in the world.
For a modern gaming audience.
For a new world of unspeakable adventures.
I said, Mummy, I like the way the lady runs.
Get ready for a new world of unspeakable adventures, never before shown in a motion picture. Get ready for Kung Fu Hot Dog.
Snake. Snake.
Right?
So before I get into today's article, ladies and gentlemen, I want to take you back to 2018 when Sweet Baby Inc. was formed. Of course, Kim Belair, that insufferable bint, is the CEO, while David Bedard is the Chief Operating Officer. So as a mixed-race woman of diversity, she has to make sure she's right above that, the top of the cherry tree, right? To make sure that everybody bows down to her like she's a female version of Merciless the Ming, or Ming the Merciless from Flash Gordon. Good grief, what a classic movie if you've not seen it. And yes, I do have the much sought after 4K version. But of course, their modus operandi was to go in there and work on a game after it's been completed, but just to undo a few little things. And on Wikipedia, if you do check it out, they do really shill hard for Sweet Baby Inc. by claiming they received online harassment, but it was a minuscule amount of harassment, not the same grandeur levels that Anita Sarkeesian got in 2014 onward. Remember, Anita Sarkeesian started Gamergate 1.0, and she was the most hated woman in America for quite a few years. She could not go to a public event without being surrounded by heavyweight security. And when I say heavy, I mean dudes who don't eat donuts. The same security detail that maybe a certain 45th president could have done with before he was attempted to be deleted by somebody else, if you get my drift. So what's very interesting as well, that they talk about the online harassment, and I have to say, folks, this is Gamergate 2.0. It's in full effect. It's a shame that other content creators out there who cover video games don't acknowledge this. I find it very disparaging. It's a bit mean-spirited or just plain ignorant, like IGN, right? And once it was known that Sweet Baby Inc. got their dirty little mitts into the hands of Rocksteady and started working on the then postponed game title of Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League, because according to Jason Schreier, that game was scrapped in 2016. But why oh why it was even allowed to still go full steam ahead? Well, I can tell you the reason why. It's that dreaded word that we all hate as gamers: live service. No, nobody wants it. I've never enjoyed the live service model. People buy video games to play offline. They want to have their own experiences. If you want to share it afterwards, then by all means upload your video via PlayStation or Xbox and show the world and the audience of about 2 people who might like your video what you achieved that day. So an interesting article here from Paul Tassi, him that likes cuties on Netflix. Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League. Devs knew it was going all wrong. So if that's the case, why didn't they speak up? Maybe they couldn't. So the official Jason Schreier report about the failure of yet another live service game is out. Tassi, what you should be saying, mate, it's another live service model or another game ruined by SBI. But you're just ignorant, aren't you, mate? You just won't acknowledge that fact because you think it's a conspiracy theory. The Rocksteady live service superhero shooter debuted to horrible review scores, peaked at half of Marvel's Avengers concurrent highs, and now averages under 500 players a night on Steam. Boy, this guy's got nothing better to do, has he? What went wrong? I hate to say it, but it's pretty obvious. Are you going to say Sweet Baby? And what seems to always be happening with this sort of thing? Bad management, bad decisions being made, and that badness being known by the devs themselves as they were making it, but it just couldn't course correct. So Rocksteady hired people without telling them they were working on a live service multiplayer game. Oh gosh, well there you go. I wonder what they were tempted with. Good grief. And those hires questioned why exactly the studios were departing from its single player roots. Many devs, and including I would say Sefton Hill and his partner to form their own independent game studio, they obviously saw the writing on the wall. And that to me was a bit of a warning sign. Yeah, when Sefton Hill and his partner, I think it's Jamie somebody, left Rocksteady, I mean, those guys were the foundation of that studio. Once they left, I already saw the cracks forming. They were there in plain sight. And in fact, when I even saw the initial video gameplay reactions, and I have to be transparent here, folks, some of my reactions back then were pretty cringe because I was like oohing and ahhing for what I saw on screen. But obviously, you know, the thing that passed me by then was how ugly they made Harley Quinn. It's only thanks to people like Kyle who pointed it out, and I sat down, baptized with the milk of titties, and realized I was absolutely wrong. So thanks to him, I was able to see things in a brand new light. Dun, 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 dun. So this is the new video game studio Sefton Hill and Jamie Walker have set up together. 100-star games. Dun, dun, dun. 100 people get it because it's 100 in the words and then it's 100 in the numbers. AAA Games London. So I do wonder, and it's a great place to work for, and it's certified apparently. I guess that little statement there, that little disclaimer is to say, if you join this place, it won't be toxic, it won't be harassing you, it will just be embracing your actual God-given talent as a video games developer. So I guess that might be something to look forward to. But who knows, they're probably, I mean, that's the funny thing, right? They've limited it to 100 people. So I guess when one drops off, they've got to replace them with somebody else. So interesting, keeping within the budget restraints, that kind of makes sense. This is a very nice looking logo, and it's exclusive, not inclusive, but it could be, knowing Sarah Bond.
My name is Sarah Bond. My pronouns are she, her, and I am the head of ecosystem for
with Xbox Game Studios. So I'm kind of curious to see what this AAA game they're bringing to that failing platform right now of Xbox. Because Xbox, yes, when was the last great Xbox game you played? Don't say Starfield, because I'll come around and smack you in the face. So Rocksteady leadership scrapped many chunks of the script, which seemed obvious in the final product, you're telling me. And studio co-founder Sefton Hill admitted he hadn't played much Destiny, the clear leader in the live space that had spent close to a decade learning how to avoid the pitfalls of the genre. Because why on earth would you play a Batman trilogy of games and then the final title you bring out also has to be a live service? That makes no sense whatsoever. So Eurogamer published a very good article yesterday covering this whole debacle. Rocksteady hit by layoffs after Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League underperforms. Yeah, it was reported that Warner Brothers Games, who obviously own Rocksteady, lost in excess of $200 million because of this poor performance of a limp-dicked, limp biscuit game that nobody wanted to buy. Nobody liked the character designs. I think some of the character designs, like for Captain Boomerang and King Shark, were great. But oh my god, the live service DLC where you have Mrs. Freeze, who's apparently non-binary despite the fact she's addressed as Mrs. Freeze. You give the characters of King Shark and Captain Boomerang pride flags to wear in your game. We just want to play a video game. That's all we ask for. We don't want progressive ideas. This is the problem. I mean, when I come to the end of this video, folks, I'm going to recap on something I spoke about earlier on the year, how you can make video gaming great again. And I'm not just talking about the finished product before that.
We really want everything in the game to have that same punch as a great blockbuster movie, to bring Batman's universe to life and really make you feel like you are the Batman.
Now, this is insane, actually. So apparently, one member of staff who was on paternity leave was informed that he won't be coming back to a job when he returns. Now, when I used to work for HR for the government, there were no provisions about it's a government led job, so the chances of it closing are, it's a very minuscule percentage, right? So if that were to happen, I'm sure they've got some kind of coverage. They might have paid you 3 months' salary before you find another job, or they might transfer you to another government department. How it works in this case for a video game studio, I have no idea. I would assume that Warner Brothers will have to dig into their coffers of money and give this guy a generous payout, because if he's been with the company for many years, he deserves some kind of financial recompense, right? I mean, if he doesn't, he might take legal action. And I would say, go ahead and get what you're worth, mate. Let's talk about the great Kevin Conroy. For many people, the synonymous voice actor for Batman in the animated series and other spin-offs. But this guy agreed to come on one more time to reprise his role while he was dying. And then in the end, Bruce Wayne, a straight white man voiced by a very famous gay actor. By the way, I had no idea the dude was gay. Didn't bother me at all. In fact, he was in Tour of Duty back in the 80s and he played a real machismo badass sergeant. But honestly, the fact that Sweet Baby Inc. decided that Bruce Wayne was too straight and too white and too hetero, we're just going to get Harley Quinn, who's now uglified as even more ugly than the ugly duckling who failed to turn into a beautiful swan, decides to assassinate Bruce Wayne. I mean, how many hardcore fans who loved Batman Arkham City, Arkham Asylum, and Arkham Knight, how many of those do you think were pissed off? I would say quite a few million, right? Nobody endorsed or embraced this idea. It's terrible. The terrible decision making. When that news leaked, I thought that can't be true. And then when you saw the actual footage, absolutely terrible. So again, while I do feel sorry for the people who've been laid off from Rocksteady, again, you get into the bed with the devil. In this case, the devil's known as Sweet Baby Inc. And this is the price you pay.
Are we done with your bad stand-up routine?
Almost. But you always gotta end on your best joke.
please don't tell me, right, that, oh, it's not Sweet Baby Inc. that caused this to happen. It is, okay? They are probably 40% of why this title failed. They obviously said, listen, we're going to get the best out of it. These are all DC characters people know and love. We'll make it a live service game. We'll make a lot of script changes. We'll give you a gay looking Joker because yes, the Joker is a flamboyant dude. He's not gay. He's just a very out there kind of dude. And also played by Cesar Romero. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's a diverse man right there. And nobody complained about him playing the Joker back in the 60s. If you ask me, Mr. Romero played one of the best Jokers ever. Under all that makeup, how would you even know who he was and what he was? It didn't matter because he was just a great actor. So honestly, poor Kevin Conroy, they shat on his legacy as Batman by killing him off. So yeah, who cares, Rocksteady? You know, you deserve what you get in that respect because you got into bed with Sweet Baby Inc. and you should not have done that.
Put this stuff up to your higher-ups. And if they don't see the value in what you're asking for when you ask for consultants, when you ask for research, go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want.
So here we go, folks. A video I made a year ago. Suicide Squad kills Rocksteady Studios. That's what I probably should have retitled it. But here's what I said towards the end of this video. And again, I will say that I did see some flags, of concern, like the combat. Why would Captain Boomerang, whose signature weapon is the Australian weapon, but he uses a gun instead, which made no sense. League. An absolute failure from yours truly. When it gets released, it's going to get review bombed. It's going to have the worst Metacritic score since Gotham Knights. It's going to be a hard pass for me. I'll tell you that much. I might pick up the game eventually, maybe secondhand, but then again, if they don't do anything to remove the live service element, no one's going to be interested. So rest in peace, Rocksteady. It was nice knowing you when it was better times, I suppose. And I guess the last great Batman video game you should play is Arkham Origins. Yeah. Ironically, that wasn't even made by Rocksteady themselves. So folks, if you enjoyed this video, there you go. And then of course now you get the dubious suspects like Dreamcast guy with the most awful thumbnail for his video covering the 5 developers of Rocksteady Games. I'll tell you what, Max, he wasn't blessed with the Richard Gere stick, was he? He was just blessed with, well, somebody else's leftovers.
Richard Casca here, and today we're talking about Rocksteady Games and the mass firings after the failure of Suicide Squad to
because of Sweet Baby Inc.
But additionally, I kind of want to talk about the state of the industry because I feel like a lot of these layoffs, these firings, these studio closures, they come from a singular source, and I want to discuss that.
The singular source is actually BlackRock. It's all those investors, Vanguard, who are just giving companies lots of money to re-diversify video games because video games before are very bad for you. So if I want to play that, for example, or that to make things even worse, because I do love Wolfenstein. This game is fantastic. Some great dialogue, great animations. But yeah, apparently those games now might be problematic. So, good God. What do you have to say, Max? Carry on, mate.
Let's begin.
Yes.
I hope you're having a great day.
Yes, I am actually, because I'm standing up.
Give this video a like.
No, I won't.
Subscribe.
No, I won't subscribe.
Now, I see a lot of people kind of dancing on the grave of Rocksteady today.
No, we're not dancing on the grave. It's more like we told you so about Sweet Baby Inc. You know what, Max?
Specifically.
Oh, you can watch that video yourselves, guys. Here's Lukey Wookie Stevens. Let's see what he has to say.
It's happened, folks.
Yeah.
It's happened. Rocksteady has been hit by layoffs after Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. And one of these individuals, as you can see with the subheader, was even made redundant, kind of code word for let go or fired, while on paternity leave, which don't feel good. Let's see what they say.
It's not a good reflection on the company.
Gamer of redundancies at the studio.
What do you think, Luke? Come on, mate. Let's get into that. We know that
Rocksteady maybe will not be getting their own project for a bit. They might be treated just as a support studio for other studios within the Warner
Yeah, that's actually a very good point. And I'm going to just switch screens here one last time, folks, because that's a good point that Mr. Stevens actually brings up. They will be a support studio, because who the hell is going to support them in making another video game? I mean, Warner Brothers are not happy. And by the way, when I say support, Monolith Games are working or trying to develop a Wonder Woman game. Are they going to enlist the talents of said now almost defunct Rocksteady Studios to help them with that title? I hope they do, because honestly, I have no hope for that game at all. Yeah, a year ago I was excited for it, but yeah, the irony is that trailer that dropped for Wonder Woman was 2 years old and nothing has happened. So Warner Brothers Games, which now, by the way, has been taken over by many female activists, are just going to go in there and ruin future IPs. Do you think you're going to get another Batman game? Of course you're not. Bruce Wayne, rest in peace dude, is 6 feet under. He's going to be replaced by Batwoman, not Batgirl, who on my right over here could be a nice addition. If she was done right, if she looked very attractive, I would be invested in playing that game. But it's never going to happen, folks, because remember, if you're a female game dev with no talent whatsoever, you're going to silence the male gaze. Now, in the middle of this video, I talked about how video gaming needs to reset itself. I think at some point it's going to do that. And I would like to see people, I want to see CEOs, whether they're male or female, but let's talk about mainly male, because obviously I'm a dude. So picture me in a very sort of mid-expensive suit, wearing some really cool sneakers, walking into an office, putting my feet on a desk like Ferris Bueller, and just ordering people to do this, do that, hire these folks who've got a degree in making really great video games, rehire Cliff Blazinski for all I care, bring him in, we'll have a based one-to-one chat about video games. I want to be that kind of exec. But then we got people like Strauss Zelnick, who's boring, that other dude, David, what's his face, the android, Andrew Wilson. Oh my God, that guy's so boring. I bet he gets constipation 3 times a week. We don't want people like them. Yes, they're there to manage the business of the games, but they are not fundamentally video gamers. They are corporate drones who go do 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 do. Don't embrace the pronoun nonsense, but they force their other employees to do that just to keep them on trend and to get that ESG money from other sources. So I have no hope for the future of video games in the West. I mean, again, I've seen a lot of videos popping up where people are now talking about the decline. They're calling 2024 the year of the video game crash, because if you go back to 1983 and E.T. by Atari, how all those games were scrapped because quite simply the video game industry was massive in America, but again it seems that sellers at that point were not interested in being associated with a hobby, if you like, that wasn't really doing well. But honestly, folks, I hear this news, and don't forget as well, Suicide Squad was also played with behind the scenes drama. Kim McCaskill, one of the head writers for Suicide Squad Killed Rocksteady, she talked about being harassed, but nobody listened to her. Is she genuine? She probably is. I saw her video. I've covered it here on his channel. She probably had a few good points to make. I can't absolutely refute her. I mean, again, she didn't come across as being insufferable, so I will have to take what she says with a grain of truth, I suppose. But I hope you enjoyed today's video, folks. It wasn't an easy one to cover, but I will say it, we did warn you, those with the an ounce of common sense. We told you when you get involved with Sweet Baby Inc., who are just mafia grifters with big massive nose rings, who walk in, who consult with the company, they sit you down, and to quote Kim Belair, you absolutely have to terrify these people into bowing down to pressure, to bend the knee to your whims, to your demands. Oh yeah, of course you have to do that, don't you? Well, one day, Sweet Baby Inc., your time will be up, and we can't wait to see you fall like a pack of cards, because you absolutely deserve it. Of course, does that mean we'll see the back of DEI, ESG consultant groups? No, we won't, because you've got people like hit detection, or as I prefer, tit detection. That's the best kind of sleuthing I like to do in my spare time, who are out there trying to bridge gaps. Did you see what I did there? Because you got bridge.com as well, who are another awful consultative group out there. Again, people in those groups don't play video games. They want to change the narrative. Stacey Henley from The Gamer also said that people reject Sweet Baby Inc. because, get this, they reject progression. No, we don't want progressive video games. We want good, great video games to play. So when Black Myth Wukong goes in there, sells 10 million copies in 3 days, and people say, well, that game Science, they're an awful toxic studio. They hate women. And yet, in that photograph I showed you yesterday from Mangaloya, where you got the guy wearing a plastic chicken on his head, who's in the background? A female co-worker. So how do they hate women again? And of course, you can't just have an entire male force of workers. That'll be deemed a bit suspect. So women, again, the correct ones, can actually play good video games. Of course, now the next Sweet Baby Inc. title to come out is Unknown 9, with the actress from The Witcher, Anya Chalotra. Again, she's an alright looking chick, but that game is destined to fail. I feel sorry for her because she doesn't deserve that at all. She could have been given a better game title to play or to voice, but there you go, folks.
Spending money, but you'll be losing money since you're not able to use your car for work.
Well, I don't know about you, and I have no idea what she's babbling on about regarding turnaround, but if, like me, you enjoyed this video today, make sure you give this a like, and make sure you stop heaving your bosoms, love, because honestly, it's giving me such a headache. If you're me, and if I were you, you better come back for the next video.